Hello everyone, my name is Flavius and I'm back this month with the next balance update changes, mainly for Mortal Judgment and some other cards. Unlike last month, it's just 12 changes, so let's jump right into it. Again, these changes will be only available for public tests, so they're not necessarily they might not all of them go live, and if they are, there might be a few tweaks depending on feedback. So let's just jump right into it. Again, all the links to all of this is going to be down in the description. And there's also a new addition. I'm going to be making a tier list in the end. How I feel like these cards are going to change the meta. So we're starting with the buffs. First one, Dahlia, Night Gardener, Mortal Judgment Nature, Legendary. We rarely see play. So the biggest change here is 5 health, which is very good stats for 4 mana. So a small boost to see more play, which I'm gonna leave it to the tier list, but I think it's a welcome change. Next one, very interesting change. Hector, Prince of Troy. If you don't remember, this card used to be a staple in any control mid-range war. There it is. So the big change here, which I personally like, is we are now gonna get Leech back. So it's a semi-reverse what the card used to be, except it still doesn't have frontline, which I think he used to have frontline, but the Leech is very welcome change, because the card went from being a staple to not seeing any play whatsoever, unless people were very outdated to the game. Yeah, good change. Nerfs. Okay, that's the sensitive area. Let's see which nerfs we're gonna get. Unrestrained Power. I think everyone knows what this card does. I think everyone knows that this card facilitates a one-turn kill from Relic War. So the change here is very straightforward. It's not a huge change, so I think the cards might still be play, but it no longer. Let's see if I got this right. Yes, so if you empower it, you actually double the strength of your relic instead. You don't get the +2 strength. Before you'll get the +2, and then you'll double it. If you do empower now, you only get double if you empower. So give it +2 or double the strength of your relic. So no more +4 extra bonus, which definitely should impact the OTK potential of this card. I think it's a good change. Again, I've only overviewed most of these cards, so this is more of a reactions kind of review, and see how this is going to impact the meta. Next one, Inescapable Duty. I think everyone knows very well what this card is. It's a very impactful card in Control Light. I personally don't have much experience with Control Light yet. It's a very important card for the loop. Basically, Inescapable Duty with Embalmers facilitates a continuous loop of you getting to your void. But now the card is getting changed, so the loop is no longer limited, because the cards you get will have solos, with or without Empower. Next one, Ronulan Sparrow, which I thought was an odd one to change. So the card went from 2-1 stats to just 1-1. Fair enough. Not much to be said here. I think you're going to see the current theme, because there's going to be a few more. It's Changing how explosive Hidden Deception has been since Aggro Light was nerfed. We've seen a lot of aggro decks coming back to surface. Next one, still in the same God, Selfless Guildmate. So the change here is no longer has Hidden. Still strong. You just don't get that. You still might not get that 1 extra damage from the card from being hidden next turn, or buffing it to attack even more, potentially. Next one, Switch Duelist. Now this card goes back to something which I think it used to be way before the core set refresh, and I actually thought it still was the case, but it isn't. Just a small change, but kind of impactful. No longer permanent hidden until you attack. It's only hidden for the first turn, which is fair enough. I think we'll still see play. Not a huge deal. People prefer to use Armor Lurkers and other cards to wait for the opportunity to go face with buffs. People don't necessarily use this, but I guess it helps. So you no longer can keep it until you find a better opportunity to attack. Last nerf, and I'm sure the people will be happy with this, despite the fact I believe Anubians are not as broken as they used to be, especially with Land of the Dead. I don't think Land of the Dead was necessarily a requirement to win the game with Land of the Dead. If anything, and you're going to see on this change, so basically Land of the Dead, you probably know, if you've been playing for the past couple of months since Mortal Judgment, you get 6 1-mana Anubians from your voice. You can get the Priestess and the Necromancers, the Vile Reavers, and the 1/1. Bring back to the board. This time, only up to 5. Give them Solace. So Land of the Dead is as good as you only actually using 1. And interestingly, their explanation, it's basically saying you can bring 12 health, 12 attack potentially to the board. If this is such a huge deal, which I'm not sure if they're discussing this here, then you should have nerfed Reach into the Black, because it is a small Land of the Dead. It does exactly the same thing. It's a 3 mana, 6/6 maximum worth of stats. So in that logic, you should have nerfed Reach into the Black. Which, if anything, I prefer that they nerfed Land of the Dead and Reach into the Black. If they had nerfed Reach into the Black, then I think that would have been a much bigger deal than nerfing Land of the Dead. So you're just probably still gonna see Anubians. You're still gonna see the skill scepter, like I like to call it, and 1 Land of the Dead. So is it gonna kill Anubians? No. Is it just to make other people happy that the Nubians got somewhat of a hit? Yeah. Anyway, let's go to the more interesting thing, which are complete changes to cards, and there's quite a few interesting ones. So changes. Enlightenment, a card that we have never seen play. Which also very similar to a core card that was brought in core set refresh with the slight tweaks. I think, could be wrong. I think I'm wrong actually. So what the card used to do: give -3 to a creature and remove frontline from it. I just better play Smite. There's no room for this card. Honestly, giving -strength is not strong enough in the meta. What is the change then? So still 4 mana, but completely forget the strength thing. So now what it does, discard 2 cards, look at your deck and pull 2 cards to your hand. So you can actually pick those 2 cards and then shuffle your deck. So you can pick 2 cards for the cost of 4 mana. So it is a bit heavy to use it, but if you, and they explain it here, it takes advantage of all the echo cards, but that means you're probably going, for this card to have somewhat of potential, you will have to play more of an aggro mid-range light, which doesn't see much play nowadays. I'm not really sure what you'll be seeking for on those decks. You no longer have Prey of the Desperate, so interesting change anyway. Yeah, we'll probably see some experimentation and some surprises. You just never know. Some people might bring something very interesting. And there is a card that I think it's going to be very interesting, which is the next one. Nithos, the Mage Weaver, which this card was an embarrassment of a legendary card. If you look at its effects, unlock a mana lock for this turn. It's an ability card, not even a roar. If it was roar, maybe we would have seen some play. And refresh 1 mana. Ability cards without roar or protected or ward. they're kind of useless because you can only use them next turn. And for 2 mana, 1/2 stats, if he was like 2 mana, 1/4, maybe he would survive. But embarrassment of a legendary card for Magic. But now, what's the change? A 2 mana 2/2. So okay, stats. Forget ability, forgetting power. What does it do? After you play a spell, draw a creature of the same mana cost. After you play a creature, draw a spell of the same mana cost. So there is no limit to this effect. You use 1 card, you get a spell. You use a creature, you get a spell. You play a spell, you get a creature from your deck from the same cost. For 2 mana, longer in the game, and we know how good Mage is with creating combo decks. We had the school teacher. We still have some problems with Lost in the Depths combos. I think this card went from an embarrassment to a potential problem. So I could be wrong. I don't have much experience with shenanigans decks like these, but if this card is going to remain like this, which I hope not, it's going to be very powerful. I can already see a lot of 1 mana cards being played. There's too many of them. They're quite powerful, and this card just allows you to just imagine playing this on turn 6. 2 mana, you have 4 mana. You just play 1 card, get another card, play that card, get another card, so on and so on. Allow you to just draw 3 cards, 4 cards, just like that, turn 6. So yeah, I can also see that 3 mana card, which name I forgot, which is a core card with a ward. You give wards to your weakest creatures, and that creature gains strength. Yeah, aggro Magic. I have a feeling. Okay, last 2 changes. We have Alika. It's another legendary we've not seen barely any play. I thought the card was interesting, but there are much better deception cards for this. Again, another big change. Quite a buff, quite a positive change. We start with the stats. 3 mana, 3/4, very powerful. No longer steals strength. What this card do is mess with your opponent, which is great for shenanigans deception. At the start of your opponent's turn, your turn picks 1 at the start, so this card will work straight away as you pass your turn. They have to delve a relic or a rune and give it to your opponent, so they don't lose anything from their hand or deck necessarily, so that they will give you something which looks like might be the default. Your opponent draws a card, or they discard the card. So I think most people just delve. But if you play the baby dragon, which name I refuse to try and spell it because I never get it right. There's no translation for that. Or Boromag, just give me some cards, even if it's a useless relic or rune, which they are usually quite good. So very good. And last change, another touch to Metamorphosis, and this is not a welcome change, except for Metamorphosis haters, which I know there's been a huge hate against Metamorphosis. Recently, we saw the card going from 1 mana to 2 mana. The card saw less play straight away. Now, I think this card is going to see little to no play. So you no longer target your opponent's creatures, this was a way cheaper at the 5, for example. A great card, a great tool. Instead, you can only target your creatures. And you no longer dwell for an option. What you're going to transform, it's random. So, do I dare to say that this card is absolute garbage now? Well, let's do a tier list on it. Again, I'm gonna share this link on the description below, so you can do your own tier list. I've already changed all the cards, so the card here are showing the right stats and effects. So you can do your own changes. You can comment below. You can share with your friends or community, and play around, review it yourself, provide feedback. So in the end, everyone is happy with this month's balance changes. So let's start with the first one, Dahlia. So for this last part of the video, I'm gonna try and realistically score the card, how much I believe that this card is gonna realistically see any play. Not how powerful the card is now, because overall, besides the nerfs, they're all going to be quite powerful. So Dahlia, stats wise, great. Let me just get this here. Can I go back here? Yeah. So the card was the card barely saw any play. Now I'm just gonna throw it out there, above average. I think the card was probably below average because 4-mana 3/3. The card is good. Don't forget he has the echo, but nature doesn't need such a slow card. They have a lot of cards already. But now that he sees these extra boosts, I think it will be above average. Not broken, maybe average, but I think it's going to see more play. Maybe except for the fact being an Amazon. You know what? I'm going to give it average. I think you will see an average being played. Troy. Now this one, because I've seen a lot of people trying to bring control war, but without Hector, it's a bit difficult. Hector was such a fundamental tool to get you the heal you can't. There was no other way of healing until Chimera, and obviously you have that front line as well, but War just struggled. Now with Hector, I'm gonna say above average, broken. How much we're gonna see being played? I'm gonna say above average, just because it's a control card. But definitely a welcome change. The card was below average before this. Next one. Again, tier list is all open to interpretation. Again, PTR is going to be open, I think, for the next 3 or 4 days. Not a lot of people go there to test. So this is a feeling what I think the cards might see play or not. Unrestrained Power, definitely a broken card. Now, I will give it still above average, I think. Still. Next one, Inescapable Duty. I guess it was a broken card. I think you're definitely going to see one, like the Land of the Dead. You're still going to see it being played, but maybe just one copy. I'm still going to say above average, I guess. Ornland Sparrow. The card used to be a staple, definitely a staple in Hidden. 1-mana 2/1, good stats, sticky creature. Now 1-mana 1/1, just with awards. Below average, I guess. Maybe the whole Hidden Deception aggro is going to be. He's actually taking huge hits. It's going to go. I know the deck was highly rated, being an A tier deck. Now it's going to be a B tier, tier 2 deck. If not worse. Sopus Guildmate, still above average. Just the fact it's not hidden, still okay as far as Hidden Deception is concerned. Switch Duelists, yeah, still above average. Land of the Dead. I mean, I wouldn't even rank this card broken before. I mean, people will argue and say yes, it's a broken card. Average play. I could put in Skippable Duty here. Just saying, you're only probably gonna see a copy now in these decks. Maybe. Embalmer can still go and get it, but obviously if you bring Embalmer with this, you're not going to be able to abuse that Embalmer. Okay. Enlightenment. These are going to be much harder to rank. Obviously, I think this card has potential, but I don't see right now what kind of deck will be able to abuse this. 4 mana is still quite a bit asking. So I'm gonna say I don't want to risk giving below average because I don't know if it's gonna be below average, but below average, we'll see. This one, it's broken for me. I think this card is. I have a feeling that this card will be a problem if it stays like this. Next one, honestly, I will give broken to this one as well. I think any deception deck will play this, especially control. It's such a great card, honestly, and it's 3/3 mana 3/4, so great stats. So the Psychic Creature Echo, which allows you to play 2 of them on turn 4, and if your opponent chooses to give you a relic or a rune, you'll have the same amount of cards in your deck. This is really gonna facilitate more mag builds with Deception, which I love the card, so I'm gonna give it broken. Last one. We have our trash card. Can I say? Bye, Metamorphosis. Rest in peace. Well, this will do for this video. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And also feel free to join me on Twitch today and for the next couple of days, since we now have the lead to play. And, give me some feedback. Let me know so I can relate to the council. Anyway, this will do for this video. Catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.